You know, I saw a picture from Derek Lunsford. He was hitting some crazy back shots. His lats look like, I mean, the incredible progress that he's made on his back is very apparent in these videos.
So high, I'm hypnotized.
Dave Palumbo here with another RXMuscle rant. Since we're only weeks away from the Mr. Olympia competition, it might as well be a Mr. Olympia rant. And today's topic is going to be, is it a good idea to be posting pictures now leading up to the Olympia? Does it help you, or does it hinder you, or does it do nothing? And, you know, I saw a picture from Derek Lunsford. He was hitting some crazy back shots. His lats look like, I mean, the incredible progress that he's made on his back is very apparent in these videos. You know, you could say what you want about Instagram and how you can put filters on things. This guy's back is for real. And he's made a lot of progress. And, you know, that was the critique he had as to why he didn't win the Olympia last year. You know, the judges told him he needed a bigger back. And you know, he needed to make a couple other tweaks too to his physique. But pretty much it was his back. Hadi had him beat from there. He went to work this past off season. He obviously made some incredible progress. I mean, when you look at his back, it's mind-boggling how dense and how thick it is. He always had good lats, but I mean, it looks like he added like 5 to 7 pounds of quality muscle to it. Now, whether he did or not, I don't know the numbers. I haven't asked him or anything like that. But it looks like it. And bodybuilding is a sport of illusion, right? So Derek was historically always a guy who 6 weeks out from the Olympia, when he was a 212 guy, looked like he was going to win the whole show easily. And then he would come into the 212 Olympia because he had to make weight and suck down, and he looked terrible. And so everyone was always like, does this guy really have it, or is this an illusion? And then he went to the open class last year, and he took second in his first attempt, not having to make weight, enabling him to come in as full as he needs to, do all the right things, not sacrifice muscle. Now he's coming back this year. This is really his first, I think it's his first real full year where he was able to give 100% to packing on as much muscle as possible. He had no doubt he's coming into the Open Olympia, you know, whereas the year before he was kind of on the fence. And I think his body is still in a big growth spurt. He's young still. This is a really dangerous guy. And you know what? I think it's a great idea. When you are confident in yourself and you know you've made the improvements, and, you know, let's talk about Dorian Yates from 92 to 93. You saw those crazy black and whites in Flex magazine. He knew he had killed it. Dorian was a guy who you never saw pictures of, but he was so good that he had to put those out there because that scared the crap out of the competition, and for good reason. Everyone knew they were going for second place going into that show. Ronnie Coleman, same thing. You know, there wasn't really much internet back then, but you know, we would see leaked pictures from Chad and stuff like that, who was working with him, and I think there's an intimidation factor there. Plus, now you got the judges looking at these pictures too, and they're saying, holy mackerel, this guy did what we said. So now they're looking for him on stage. Now, putting up pictures, okay, is a double-edged sword, because if you put up video or pictures on Instagram and you filter the hell out of them, and it makes you look way better than you could ever look in person, and then you show up at the show the real way you are without the filters on, and the judges look at that, I think you could make them they become disappointed at what they're seeing. They think you don't look as good as your best, when in fact you might be at your best, but you just tricked people, okay, on Instagram. I don't think what Derek posted was filtered in any way whatsoever. I think that's an accurate assessment, and I think that's what's making people very scared of this guy. Another guy, Andrew Jack, just put up some training pics. He didn't really take his clothes off, but I mean, this guy also packed on an enormous amount of size from last year's Olympia. he did a lot. He put on good gains just from the Olympia to the Arnold, and then after the Arnold, he also put on some really good improvements when we saw him in Texas. So I mean, here's a guy who's super dangerous, and he's only getting better. And I don't think the guy even knows how to put a filter on his picture, and he doesn't need a filter on his picture. So to answer the question, is it a good idea to put pictures up leading into a show? If you've done the work in the offseason and made the improvements that the judges asked you to make, I think it's a great idea. And you don't put up filtered pictures that are going to give people unrealistic expectations of what you should look like. Now, if you don't give a crap about competing and you're more about social media and getting a huge following, like a Rich Piana was back when he was alive, that's fine. There's no rules then after that, because you're just trying to get followers. But we're talking Mr. Olympia competition, okay, that's coming up in a month. What's the right thing? If you made the improvements or you look real good, put those authentic pictures up without the filters on them on your Instagram. Let people start talking about you, because you can back it up with that same exact physique when you get to the stage. If you didn't make the improvements, okay, my suggestion is don't put up anything, because if you do, people will be disappointed in what they see. So it's strategy. It's what do you need to do to get yourself to that next level? And that next level might be just cracking the top 10 at the Olympia. It might be going from the top 10 last year into the top 5 this year, or it might be, going from the top 5 or close to the top 5 and trying to win the Olympia. There's different strategies. But judges are human. They watch social media just like everyone else does. And if you trick them and bamboozle them with filtered and altered pictures, you're only screwing yourself when you get on that stage. If, however, you put up authentic stuff that shows that you've made some insane improvements and you're going to deliver on the day of the show, then I say go ahead. Advocate. Use the internet as a way to promote yourself. It was never there, 20 years ago. You only got lucky if a magazine ran a photo of you, and you'd have to give it to them 3 months before the Olympia if you wanted it to even get in the magazines on time. Nowadays, you just upload it to your social media page, and everyone, spreads it everywhere and sees it. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a great thing. It's a terrible thing. It's a great thing if you use it properly as a tool. It's a terrible thing if you use it to trick people. And we're talking about competitions, not social media promotions. And trick the judges into thinking that you're really better than you really are going to display on stage. But if you can show up better than what they see in those pictures and videos, you're going to make quite the impression. And I know that Derek Lunsford, come Olympia time, is going to be one tough guy to beat. Dave Palumbo with an RXMuscle rant.